Throughout history, the United States has seen its fair share of peaks and valleys.
From wars on its own land and conflicts abroad to natural disasters and struggles for equal rights.
We could go on and on about the number of times we, as a country, have been pushed to the brink.
But through it all, our leaders, elected officials, and institutions have remained steadfast in their protection of our financial markets.
This is because they know how critical they are to the overall health of our country.
Whether you agree with this degree of prioritization or not, the fact remains the stock market is a treasured part of American society and in many ways the heart of American life.
And owning index funds
is like owning a tiny slice of America. Index funds are important because I am a recovering perfectionist. I am a classic overachiever, and index funds is a means of investing that allows me to have one less thing to think about. It is one of the few places in my life where I feel like I can be remarkably average and still quite satisfied with the result.
I think index funds should be the heart of everyone's retirement portfolio. They are simple to understand, they are affordable, and most importantly, they are proven to deliver results.
I think another reason index funds are important is because it allows me to focus on other goals. When you understand the power of investing, compound interest, and index funds, becoming a millionaire stops being a goal because it's ultimately inevitable. As long as I'm consistent and continue to invest over time, I'm obviously gonna be a millionaire, and I can start focusing on what kind of millionaire I wanna be.
You know, a lot of people believe that investing is difficult or is intimidating, and that's for good reason. It's because confusion drives clicks.
Kind of designed that way by financial institutions. We quote a study in the book that says that the language on banking websites is as complicated as the language used for Moby Dick.
Right now, if you were to Google, are index funds a good investment? You'll see tons of articles saying, yes, index funds are good, index funds are proven, index funds are cost effective. But in between some of those search results, you're probably gonna find some alternative take. What's even more interesting is that you might find an alternative or an opposing take on index funds from the same website that was previously promoting it. And all of this kind of adds to the confusion around why certain people aren't entirely bought into this passive approach of investing, even though it's been proven to be the core way that so many retirees are actually able to have a fulfilling life. The thing about investing is that no one can predict what's going to happen in the stock market. You can't predict it, and you can't control whether or not the value of a stock or a mutual fund is going to go up or down. But what you can control is how much you're actually spending to actually make that investment. And if you are conscious of your cost and you try to minimize those costs, it actually makes the practice of investing far more efficient and leads to significantly greater returns.
One of the reasons investing feels hard is because so many people are trying to pick a winner. You're trying to pick a prize horse. You're trying to pick the one company that is going to launch you to the moon.
4, 3, 2, 1.
And make you rich forever. And that's one way of investing, but it's certainly not the only way, and it's certainly not the proven way, the way that is most successful. The most successful way is betting on the entire game. Instead of trying to pick a winner, bet on the fact that the game will always be played and that you own a piece of that.
But another reason why people find investing so difficult is because so many of us are conditioned to win. It's a very American cultural characteristic that we believe that we are winners, and if you're gonna be a winner at investing, it's your job to find the individual company or industry that is most in line to win. And the reality is that's almost impossible to do.
I think a lot of people still think investing is hard because it actually used to be. Before 2008, which brought a lot of new regulation and new technology to the forefront, you used to have to go through a money manager or have a lot of cash on hand so that you could make investments. These days, it's as simple as having a mobile phone. If you have your accounts linked, if you have an investing app, a brokerage app, you can make a transaction and invest as easy as you can order food to be delivered to your house. It's important to remember that the 401k is only about 50 years old as a financial tool. People were investing before the 401k and still investing after its invention, but because it's the on-ramp to investing for so many people, a lot of people assume that that's the only way to invest. And the limits of a 401k is that you can't touch the money without a penalty until you're in retirement age. And there's a maximum on how much you can put in it every year. And so the importance of opening an account outside of your employer-sponsored retirement account is just being able to have access to money sooner, faster, and more seamlessly than a retirement account.
You know, one of the beautiful parts of investing in something like a total stock market index fund where you own a tiny slice of a bunch of different companies is that as one company fails, which companies do, they're oftentimes replaced by a new entrant in that market. So if you think about the auto industry, for example, there have been some automobile brands that aren't here anymore that were here 10 to 15 years ago. There was a time where they were well known and very popular brands, but they've since been replaced with the advances in technology. And now we're seeing new automobile brands and new electric vehicles. The same thing happens in every industry. And I think total stock market index funds are a great way to kind of ensure that you're not going to be negatively impacted by any one company falling on hard times and going out of business.
I think it's natural to feel like you need to be an expert before investing because you want to protect yourself from either being taken advantage of or making some sort of drastic financial mistake. But when you are participating in index fund investing, what you're buying into is the entire index, which is self-cleansing. So companies that are doing well remain in the index, and companies that aren't doing so well get removed and replaced by companies that are doing well. And so it's a fairly low risk exercise that allows you to participate in the global economy without feeling the need to pick a winner or be right about your ability to see which companies are going to do well in the future.
You know, even if we're not talking about a company or an industry going out of business, we now live in an environment where a single tweet or a scandal by an executive can send the value of a stock tumbling. And so if you happen to own that stock, you will see a very sharp decline in your investment returns. When you invest in things like total stock market index funds, you insulate and protect yourself from some of those simple and silly things impacting your retirement.